Hey Fredheads, Alyssa here on Channel Frederator once again to ruin your childhood. In a lot of ways, cartoons can be like our parents. They teach us about the world, both the good and the bad, and help us understand what it means to grow up and become our own person. Of course, for every earnest lesson about sharing and honesty, there's a deeply traumatizing moment that haunts our souls for all eternity. And ToonedUp is here to remind you of them. Sit down, take a breath, and have your happy place prepped because we're counting down the 10 oh-so-disturbing cartoon moments that changed our lives forever. Number 10, Peter Pan, the Red Man song. Peter Pan, the story of a mischievous boy who can fly and never grows up, is a staple in pretty much every kid's movie repertoire. One minute we're watching the kids explore Neverland, then Peter and Wendy come across the Indians. Holy bigotry, Batman! Did that lost boy just ask the chief what makes the red man red?
What makes the red man red?
Wait, why is the chief answering him, let alone singing? Grant you this was 1953, but there's something particularly upsetting about watching racism put to song. Especially in one of your favorite childhood movies. And knowing how easily children memorize the words to all those catchy Disney songs, you realize how lucky we were not to end up brainwashed into casual prejudice. Number 9, Donald Duck, Der Fuhrer's Face. Remember that time Donald Duck was a Nazi? Der Fuhrer's Face in a 1943 Disney cartoon starring Donald Duck as a reluctant factory worker in Nazi Germany was created as anti-Nazi propaganda for the American war effort. And I think we can all agree that anti-Nazi propaganda is a good thing. But do we really need to see that in our cartoons? We had to watch Donald Duck work his 48-hour shift at the factory's conveyor belt of artillery shells while being bombarded about the superiority of the Aryan race and the glory of working for Hitler. Sure, it ended up being a very bad dream, but the rest of us never got the image of Donald Duck in full Nazi garb out of our heads. Somehow I don't think Disney cared what it did to our fragile little psyches because they snagged an Academy Award for it that year, the only Donald Duck film to ever win an Oscar. Number 8, Tom and Jerry Blue Cat Blues. Tom from Tom and Jerry was never a stranger to physical pain. I mean, the entire series was about how Tom could take a licking and keep on ticking. And he could, until the cartoon decided to take things to the next level by crushing his soul. The episode starts with Tom sitting in the middle of a train track, clear intention of letting the train run over him. We hear Jerry's voiceover say, "In a few minutes, it'll all be over. That it's better this way. What is going on?" Turns out, poor Tom made the mistake of falling in love with a disloyal gold digger. Then Jerry sees his girl cheating on him, and the two adversaries form an innocence-shattering suicide pact. Surely they'll see this as a simple matter of chicks be trippin' and realize life is worth living. Nope. As they both just sit there on the tracks, we hear the whistle of an approaching train, and then the end. That's right, end credits. Number 7, Captain Planet Mind Pollution. Bad things tend to happen when a cartoon goes off-brand. Normally, Captain Planet is an environmentalist cartoon trying to impart kids with an understanding and love of nature. Well, they flip the switch in the episode Mind Pollution, and rather than dealing with an environmental problem, the Planeteers face the dangers of drug abuse and what can happen to a polluted mind. It starts with the Planeteers on vacation. Linka is staying in Washington with her Uncle Dimitri and cousin Boris. Turns out, Boris has a drug problem thanks to verminous scum selling a highly addictive drug named Bliss. When Boris slips the pill into Linka's food and triggers an addiction, it's up to the other Planeteers to save her. Which they do, but not before driving the drugs or bad point home in brutal fashion. Both Linka and the audience get to watch Boris die of an overdose. Wasn't this a show about composting? Number 6, Toy Story. Sid learns a lesson. While an honorable mention goes to the incinerator scene from Toy Story 3, we want to take you down memory lane to the very first Toy Story movie. And let us get this out of the way now. Sid is a monster, okay? We first meet Andy's sociopathic 11-year-old neighbor in the beginning of the film as he terrorizes Combat Carl with an M80 while his toy-chewing dog Scud looks on. Throughout the film, we root for the toys and are horrified when Sid torches them. Still, it's hard to watch all of his mutant toys finally get their revenge, even if it was entirely deserved. Mainly because they're a thing of nightmares, taking two creatures and making them one, like a doll with mechanical spider legs. At one point, Woody's head slowly turns around as he says,
"We toys can see everything."
No kid ever looked at their toys the same way again. Number 5, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles April Fool. Not every disturbing cartoon moment deals with violence or death. Sometimes it's just good old-fashioned perversity. April reports live from the embassy on the Emperor's decision to sell the mining rights to the vast deposit of Lithium-90 that was recently discovered in his country. As she prepares for the party that night, Irma persuades April to trade in that boring old news journalist uniform for a fancy party gown. I mean, how else is she supposed to attract an eligible bachelor? Can a girl just focus on her career? Apparently not, because you know what April ends up attracting? Some seriously creepy attention from her turtle pals. As soon as they see her, they become a bunch of predatory horn dogs.
Yeah, I think we should keep an eye on her.
April didn't need that, and neither did we. Number 4, Ren and Stimpy, man's best friend. Banned during its initial run for excessive violence, this extremely controversial episode finally aired more than 10 years later. In it, Ren and Stimpy are adopted by George Licker. He dresses up as a drill sergeant and trains them to be proper pets, and their first lesson is how to poop on a newspaper. Ren fails, and Stimpy easily does his business. Next, they're taught how to be punished, and again, Ren fails and Stimpy nails it. The pattern continues throughout the lessons until the final one, where George teaches them to protect their master. But before they learn to defend, they have to learn to attack. And boy, does Ren attack. Sure, Ren and Stimpy was always crass and subversive, but when Ren really relished, in bludgeoning George with an oar, Man's Best Friend became one of the most disturbing episodes in animation history. Ren's evil laugh at the end still haunts us. Number 3, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? The Dip. One of the best movies in history, and more importantly, our hearts. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is not without its share of upsetting moments. The top of the list, when Tooned meets the Dip. To recap, Tooned was an adorable minor character who made the mistake of cozying up to Judge Doom. The Dip was a sickly green chemical invention and Doom's weapon of choice to kill cartoons because it erased them permanently. Together they formed a traumatic childhood memory that's one for the books. Doom killed cute little Shoe, slowly, just to watch him die. What makes it even more disturbing is that Shoe ends up as nothing but red paint on Doom's glove. Number 2, Pinocchio Pleasure Island. Sure, having your nose grow every time you tell a lie would be a bummer, but getting stuck on Pleasure Island is a far worse fate. Pinocchio is a classic kid's tale about a wooden puppet who wants to become a human boy. There's even a cute little cricket named Jiminy that helps him along the way. Well, it was until the coachman takes a group of the boys to Pleasure Island and encourages them to behave so badly they turn into actual jackasses. Then he sells them into lives of misery, either in the circus or the salt mines. It's scary enough for a children's cartoon, but when Lampwick, a tough older boy from the streets, turns into a donkey, his hands transforming into hooves that desperately paw at Pinocchio's chest, we're left horrified at how far Disney is willing to go in order to teach kids the importance of obedience. Walt Disney has no chill, guys. Number 1, Bambi, his mother's murder. Speaking of no chill, Disney has never been shy about killing off characters' parents. While Simba's dad's death in The Lion King deserves an honorable mention on this list, it's the brutal murder of Bambi's mother that wins our award for the most traumatic cartoon scene ever. Bambi's tale unfolds from season to season as the young prince of the forest learns about life, love, and friends. That's nice. At one point, Bambi and his mother go out for a snack and bam, it happens. Watching Bambi call out for his mother, makes anyone with a pulse sob like a lunatic. This scene was intended to teach children about death and growing up, but the only thing it taught us was that cartoons can destroy our soul with one fake gunshot. Thanks a lot, Walt. Well, that felt good to get out. Thanks for watching Tooned Up, your home for everything you ever wanted to know about cartoons. If you want more, be sure to check out one of our other episodes linked here. And before you go to your happy places, let us know in the comments which disturbing cartoon moments are burned into your brains. Misery loves company, guys. And remember, Frederator loves you.